Tennis hits the courts, golf gets ready for a challenging season, and a brand new episode of Coach Talk. All that and more coming up on today's episode of Overtime. Welcome to the spring edition of Overtime for the 2018-19 school year. I'm your host, Danny Moore-Jesse. Warwick spring sports are in full swing, and the grass has never been greener. With spring in session, many sports teams are starting their season, and tennis is no exception, but things have changed.
Everybody inside, get out of my head. I need to be fed.
When you think of popular high school sports, tennis may not be what comes to mind. But here in Warwick, the boys' tennis team is booming. With only 3 returning players, this almost new team of 30 is ready to hit the courts with a fresh outlook. Building a foundation for a new team is hard, but both of the Garcias are fully ready to face this challenge.
A team like this is always interesting. A lot of different personalities, a lot of different sports kind of blended together. There's a bunch of wrestlers, soccer guys, basketball guys, and football guys out here, all trying to make a tennis team. So it's kind of interesting.
With the total shift in team dynamic, the captains this year have set their goals high, hoping for a great season.
This season, our plans are probably to compete in the section tournament and just overall have a good winning record.
Many of the new players share this outlook, hoping to at least improve together as a team and have a good time doing it.
The dynamic of having an entire new squad, especially for having 3 returners, it's fun, it's interesting, and we'll see how this season goes with that.
Yeah, personally, a sectionship is my plan for the season, and then, maybe see what comes after that. But overall, I just want to get better, see every guy on this court improve, and show the section what we could do.
Coming out of last season with a positive record of 8 wins and 6 losses, the coaches are hoping to build a championship-worthy team this year. So with high hopes and high serves, boys tennis is steadily becoming one of Warwick's favorite sports teams.
Wow, who would have thought a tennis team could make such a racket? Hopefully, no one underestimates this ragtag team. Now, we see what the Warwick track team has been up to over the winter. Let's find out how they've been preparing to win back their section title this year.
While many teams are only just warming up outside for the spring season, the Warwick track team has been ready to race all winter long. The Warwick Valley Track and Field team has always been one of the most prominent teams within Section 9, maintaining a famous streak of holding the section title for over 20 years. While the team may have lost the streak last year, their hopes are high this season after gaining their cross-country section title, as well as producing 2 national champions through Kayleigh Thompson in pole vault and Bahailu Bekele Arcuri in the 1,500 and 3,000 meter races during this past indoor season. With a new season also comes a new coach, as Coach Kyle Williams, a former Warwick athlete himself, has joined the coaching staff to help train the athletes.
I'm feeling pretty confident. I think they have a really good chance of winning the division, and if everything breaks well, they could win counties and sections as well. Indoor, in my mind, is just training for outdoor. I think outdoor is the most important season where more of the country competes, so I believe outdoor is peak.
But in order to take home the section title for track and field, the team first needs to prepare by winning important dual meets against rival teams who are also looking to start a streak of their own.
I believe all of them, all the division meets are going to be important. Washingtonville, Minnesink, and obviously counties is really important as well because it's a meet against the entire county.
And as the track team begins their new season, many are confident that they will both achieve their own personal goals as well as have a good time with their old friends and new teammates.
Okay, it's my first year doing track. I'm a junior. So far has been dedicated coaches, some great camaraderie in the team, and I'm really enjoying the sport.
So far it's been pretty good. The workouts have been pretty harsh, but gotta do it to get better, you know?
So while teams are coming out of their winter hibernation, you can expect the track team to always be hard at work.
The Warwick track team will be hosting the county meet here at Warwick on May 17th, so stop by and support the athletes. The interviewer has become the interviewee with this edition of Coach Talk. I
there you
watched
are.
the interviewer. I went
Shuffling through a stack of resumes and you come to mine. This is it. First impression. My way in. But here's the thing. Can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Can one piece of paper really tell you my whole story? Like that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or how anytime there was an opportunity, I was the first one to step up. Because I wasn't gonna let my life, my circumstances dictate who I was gonna become. And all of that determination, the commitment, the drive, that's me. And that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent like me.
Hello, and welcome to this spring edition of Coach Talk. I'm your host, Danny Morgessi. Joining me in the studio today is history teacher and track aficionado, Mr. Ryan Candia. So, Mr. Candia, where'd you grow up?
First of all, I want to thank you for having me on the show. It's nice to be in the interviewee chair, not being the interviewer. It's a lot more relaxing. To answer your question, I grew up in Fort Salonga, Suffolk County, Long Island, New York, but it bordered Kings Park. That's the school district I went to, Kings Park High School. So.
Did you go to a lot of baseball games in the city?
Yes. Luckily, my grandfather and my Uncle George Colucci knew this guy named Pat Scalafaro, who was the head usher at Shea Stadium for the Mets in the heyday in '86. So in '86, we went to like 20 games. I would go to my grandma and grandfather's house, the Colucci's, and hang out there for 2 weeks and go to homestands. And I really started that's where my really love and passion for the New York Mets started in the '80s. And they were good. They were the team of the town in New York back in the day. Now they're kind of second fiddle to the Yankees, but it was a very exciting time for New York Mets baseball in the '80s.
Wow. What sports did you like to play growing up?
So growing up, I was probably an all-American kid. I really, if I had to rate them, baseball 1, basketball 2. I liked playing football, pickup, but I only played organized 1 year in middle school as a safety. I didn't really pick it up. I don't know, my parents tried to keep me away from the violent aspect of that sport. I love watching football as I'm older now, but in terms of my knowledge, I wouldn't say I'm top in that. But, you know, the all-American sports, baseball, basketball, probably that 1-2 order. A little hockey, actually, too. My friend played hockey. We played on a pond. There's an ice rink called Superior Ice Rink near us. We'd go to, open skates and puck shoots. And so those sports, really, I gravitated towards.
And you ran track at University of Buffalo, right?
I did, yes. So if we backtrack a little bit, 8th grade, tried out for baseball. I was one of the last kids to get cut. There were about 80 kids. It took 15. I made it to 18, didn't get cut. A great gym teacher, Bridget McSloy-Keenan, called me and Jim DiGregorio and these other good athletes like, oh, I heard you got cut from baseball. I had a good mile time. We started running. We liked it. Freshman year, I tried for basketball. That's got to get cut. I did cross country in the fall, so I did indoor track. And I didn't even try out for JV baseball, I did spring track. And that really propelled me. And it's probably one of the reasons why, indirectly, why I went into teaching and why I'm here, actually, at Warwick. So.
Oh, that basically answers my next question.
Sorry about that.
What drew you to pursue teaching?
All right, so there's more to talk about. This is a good story. So I graduated University of Buffalo in 1999 with a BA in history. And I remember at the graduate, my wife was actually there too. We knew each other. We weren't tight at the time. We really got to know each other in grad school. And I remember thinking, a CUNY professor from Hunter spoke, and I'm thinking, what the heck am I going to do with a history degree? And I loved track. I loved coaching. I was always trying to coach, so I did a program called AmeriCorps Athletes in Service to America, where you had to give 1,600 hours, and they would pay for any degree you wanted at Canisius College. I started coaching at Cleveland Hill. I coached at JFK Cheektowaga. So really, I think I wanted to be a teacher because I really wanted to coach. And my mom used to criticize me a little bit, in a good constructional criticism way, saying that you're going on these interviews, you're not talking about history and social studies, you're not talking about what you can bring to the table in the social studies classroom, you're talking about coaching. And she was correct. And then I ended up getting the job here, knowing Warwick, not knowing about the rich purple wave culture and the cross country and track culture. And it kind of became a perfect fit. And I'm still here teaching. I love it. Great place here.
So like, what classes do you teach?
Well, sports history, you currently take that. I've taught Global 1 for years, Global 2. I've taught U.S. history. I taught economics briefly, really briefly, in a Long Island school when I was doing a leave replacement. But primarily Global 1, U.S., Global 2, and sports history. Sports history I take pride in because I took that course at the University of Buffalo. I kept proposing it every year. It got approved by a principal named Rich Linkins, who has since retired, and the new administration, Dr. Larry Washington and Dr. Leach and Mr. Yap, they liked it, so I've been teaching that. You're taking that. And that's supposed to show kids how sports, transcends just the physical attributes of hitting a home run or dunking a basketball, how it affects race and politics and gender and all those things. So I like teaching that. It's a passion of mine. I wrote the course from scratch. I stole a lot from UB too, but in terms of here, it's an original course, which I'm really proud of.
So like you said, obviously you worked at other schools before you came to Warwick.
Right.
How were those schools? Like, how did they compare to Warwick?
That's a good question. So when I was coaching up in the Buffalo schools, Cleveland Hill was on the border of Cheektowaga and North Buffalo. A lot of African-American population, a lot of blue-collar Caucasians. The kids were great. They couldn't have been more appreciative. I loved it. They were football kids who didn't really love track. They used it as training. We did a lot of hurdling stuff. We did a lot of stuff that prepared them for football as well. JFK Cheektowaga was the other side of Cheektowaga. A lot of Polish population, a lot of hardworking blue-collar people. Student taught at Lackawanna in Buffalo. It was all Muslim and African-American. Orchard Park was kind of like a Monroe Woodbury of Western New York. Student taught there as well. Long Island, Port Washington, that was a very high, progressive, highly economic profiled school district. Subbed in Comac, it's a really good district. That's actually pretty close to where I grew up. That's Fort Salonga is north near Sunken Meadow State Park. Comac is more central Long Island, just like a few miles south. I'd say Warwick is kind of a mix of those. At first, the culture was good. It was a little more, antique town, homey village. I thought Long Island was more fast paced, but I love the hamlet of Warwick. I love the feel. I think it's like old town America mixed with modernization, and the current admin's done a great job with integrating technology and 21st century skills, kind of like what we're doing in the studio right now. So it's a perfect fit. So yeah, you kind of take those experiences, you kind of have to adapt to the culture of the school district you're in and kind of work with the community, all the stakeholders, students, parents, everybody, and other teachers, admin, and it's a good fit for me. I really like Warwick. I just recently moved here permanently, and my kids are going in the schools, and it's great. It's great. I did a best decision I probably ever made. So.
Did you coach any teams before you coached for Warwick?
Oh yeah, well Cleve Hill in Buffalo. I was an assistant. The football coach's name was Mason, and Tony Percival, a great personality. Yeah, he was fun to work with. JK Cheektowaga, this guy Pete Szymanski. I never coached at my own high school. I almost did, but I had the job for a day. Then a union guy put in for it, so he got it first. Comac, worked with this guy named Steve Lurie. Yeah, like I said, I was really into the coach. I love working with kids. I loved. One of the reasons I liked it because I thought if I was in the classroom and I worked with a classroom kid, outside of the classroom, they see a different side of you and you see a different side of the student, and you can forge a better teacher-student relationship or coach-student relationship. Because I had that with my high school coach. His name is Robert Muller. He just retired. He's great. Humble man, total players coach. Did a lot for kids, and he really did not take as much credit as he deserved. So those are the reasons, and those are the places where I coached. Yeah.
Do you have any insight you could give to any kids who are working hard to pursue their goals?
In like sports or teaching or
just
anything?
In life.
It's a great question. Yeah, do something you're passionate in, definitely. expect bumpy roads. You know, sometimes if you have success early, you think everything's going to be smooth and the road's going to be paved for you and there's going to be no failure. I've said this to you guys in class and other classes. I think that people who are really successful in life went for something that was out of the box and not ordinary, and they failed, and they just kept at it, and they realized that, hey, failure can lead to success ultimately. Some of the best inventions in the history of the world were intended to do other things, but they caused greatness in other realms of life. So expect a tough journey, I guess, and do something you're passionate about, and communicate with all people. Be a good communicator is huge. So
do you think that the path that you intended to travel, like when you were younger, is different than the path that you ended up actually following?
Wow. No. My parents are retired teachers. They're great people. You know, my dad always coached me when I was young. He taught me confirmation, instilled Roman Catholicism. My mom always worked hard. She was in a public school in Queens, and she started teaching. She stopped it when we got older. When you know, she'd work on Sundays at a place called Gertz, which is later Stern. They always instilled that work just by example. And she went back into teaching. They never threw education down my face. They just kind of let me kind of be who I was and disciplined me well and taught me the right things. And I think maybe I just kind of aspired to be like them without knowing it. You know, and when I see them now, the retired teachers, and we tell war stories in the classroom, and we talk about retirement. And they're enjoying their retirement. They enjoy being together, which is nice to see because they worked so hard growing up, and they did a good job raising me and my sister Susanna and my brother Kyle. And I think I just kind of like gravitated towards what they did, with not knowing. So I think the path that I'm currently on was, I think I kind of like inadvertently wanted that without knowing it. So to answer that, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that's all the time we have for this edition of Coach Talk. To see more WVTV content, visit our YouTube page or Instagram account, WVTV. I'm Danny Morgessi. See you next time.
Thanks for having me.
Every year, humans habitually gather for what they call the summer barbecue. Unfortunately, leaving hot coals improperly extinguished can cause a wildfire. Now, could it be?
Hey guys, it's Smokey!
By George, it's Smokey Bear. These friends are going to learn a thing or two about extinguishing hot coals. Indeed, it looks as if Smokey is going to use the drown, stir, drown and feel technique. After the first drown, a good stir. Next, another long quenching drink for the hot coals. Chilling. And finally, a close feel to confirm they're safe to leave. Smokey has this mastered.
Cool? Okay.
Bang on, Smokey.
Hey, Smokey! Catch! Oh. My bad, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Welcome back to Overtime. Golf gets ready to face a challenging new season without their seniors, but stand tall using their new simulation program.
During the spring, it's easy for people to reflect on the previous year. It's a time of rebirth, especially for the spring season athletes. But for these teen players, boys golf must be as tough as ever. Tryouts are currently underway in the elementary school gym, as they are ready to follow up the season prior. In 2018, the team was unstoppable, having an undefeated victory streak, and even winning the Section 9 championships. However, a few graduating athletes did exit the team, leaving room for fresh new players. What hasn't changed, though, is the presence of the head coach, Philip Zunlaski.
We have some very talented younger golfers that are really taking charge and leading this team as well, in addition to a couple juniors that are probably going to be in the starting lineup.
I feel the coach is very good. He sets up very good drills.
Compared to last year, Zunlaski is just as determined to make his team play great. He allows for his athletes to progress throughout the season, as well as improve each of their unique set of skills.
There's a lot of young kids on the team, so over this year and for the future years, I think we're going to be a lot of improvement.
There was also the recently built golf simulator, which helps newcomers practice and learn how they would play accurately.
The golf simulator is a big improvement to this sport, and it's great so far.
Looking forward, however, is the team's goals, as they plan to succeed in various ways.
This season, we're returning division champs, so our goal this season is obviously to go back-to-back division titles. And we have about 3 or 4 guys that were in the county tournament last year that are returning, so our goal is to try to obviously get somebody to the New York State tournament and get as many guys as far as we can.
So even as there is time to reflect on the past, there is also time to look ahead, especially for these Warwick boys golfers, where improvement is key.
You can catch the golf team stats on the OCIAA website or find them practicing at Sanfordville Elementary. We wish the best of luck to the athletes this year participating. In high school, everyone's parents wants them to join a sport. If you love the view of the water and a great workout, then the Crew team might be right for you.
Warwick Valley High School has our very own rowing team, the Crew team. Crew is seen as a light and easy sport, but to stay with the team takes strength, willpower, and lots of determination. The team's roster is about 40 rowers, and they all have one goal in mind: to beat the other Orange County teams. Last year, Warwick did very well throughout the season. We decided to ask one of the coaches how she felt the team would do this year.
Well, Warwick Crew dominates every season, but this year we have 15 new rowers that are looking very good, so we're expecting to have another great season.
Members of the Crew team are often asked why they always come back to such a challenging sport each year.
So I come back every year because I just love the environment that it creates, and I met so many amazing people my freshman year and have since then, and I can't imagine my life without it. It's such a distraction from schoolwork and from other stressors in my life, and everyone's there for each other, and I just could not imagine my life without Crew.
The rowers seem to love the environment, as expressed by one of the team captains.
Our team's best characteristics is definitely the positive environment that we have all around us, because this is such a physically demanding sport and we all go through it together, so it creates such a strong bond between each and every one of the teammates.
Just like with any sport, the players always have personal goals that they aspire to reach.
So my personal goal for this year is to get a gold medal at state championships.
With such a challenging sport and so many teams in Orange County, Coach Cody needs a game plan to keep the rowers strong for the rest of the season.
We do most of our work on the winter on the ergo, and then when the spring comes, we get out on the lake, but most of our fitness is done on the winter training on the ergs.
The Warwick rowers have lots of determination and love for their team, so while the other teams may be caught slacking, the Warwick Crew team will stay hard at work.
The Warwick Varsity Crew team practices all school year. Contact the athletic office if you're interested in joining the Crew. With the MLB season finally here, more and more people are picking their teams for the year. Dan Walker set out to find which MLB team is the most popular. Let's find out.
As the 2019 baseball season is now upon us, we asked students and teachers alike who their favorite MLB team is.
I'd have to say the Yankees, because that's the only right answer in New York. And if you have any other answers, you're wrong.
I love the Mets. The Mets are my favorite. I've grown up enjoying them. I love baseball. I played softball in 4th grade. I broke a girl's nose. I felt really bad about it. In conclusion, I love the Mets.
I got to go with the Yankees. All my family were Yankees fans. Go Yankees.
For sure, the Yankees are my most favorite baseball team. And the reason why is their amazing legacy of wins and victories.
So there you have it. While there's probably a few more opinions differing on the subject, most people seem to be between the Yankees and the Mets for this year's baseball season. For WVTV, this is Dan Walker.
Be sure to keep up with your favorite team this baseball season and cheer them on in their race to win a World Series. Thanks for watching this edition of Overtime. Be sure to follow WV Television on Instagram and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. For Overtime, I'm Danny Moore Jesse. See you next time.
Cam, yeah. Are you wearing your seatbelt?
You know that people not wearing a seatbelt are 30 times more likely to be ejected from the vehicle.
Airbags are useless unless you're wearing your seatbelt.
Okay, guys, I'll wear my seatbelt from now on.
For more information on seatbelt and car safety, visit www.safercar.gov.
Home fire drills give your family a plan of action. Show everyone 2 ways out of the house, pick a safe meeting spot, and get there in under 2 minutes. Then practice, so everyone knows exactly what to do. Go to ready.gov/fire drill and learn how to prepare your family.